Zion has completely fucked this organization since they drafted.
How might feel
top to bottom. Like, no, real talk.
Zion Williamson has basketball fans buzzing after shocking updates about his health and career surfaced. From injuries that could reshape his future to rumors that have everyone talking, this story goes beyond stats and highlights. Here's the full picture of what's really happening with Zion. Injury setbacks. A career-interrupted Zion. Williamson's NBA trajectory has been profoundly shaped by recurring injuries, a thread that has stretched from his early professional years into the 2025-26 season. As of December 2025, Williamson is sidelined with a grade 2 right hip adductor strain, a condition that will keep him out for several weeks and is subject to re-evaluation at that point, according to Pelicans reports.
I played devil's advocate. I was like, I don't want him to get hurt. I want him to have an outstanding year and do all the things we know he can do. Heaven forbid, I ask the question, what if he gets same thing again? What if his hamstring acts up again? Then what are people going to say?
This latest setback is the most recent in a long line of physical ailments. Earlier in the 2025-26 campaign, Williamson missed 11 games due to a left hamstring strain, marking another chapter in his persistent struggle to stay on the court. Over the years, his availability has been inconsistent. He has played in 224 out of 574 possible games in his career, meaning he has been absent for nearly 60% of potential contests since entering the league in 2019. Even when Williamson manages a return, the stepwise nature of his comebacks, often limited minutes, cautious management of playing time, and follow-up rest reflects both player and team prioritization of long-term health over immediate impact. For instance, when he returned from a long hamstring absence in late 2025, the coaching staff monitored his minutes carefully to limit additional strain. His injury history is not limited to one type of ailment. Over several seasons, he's dealt with hamstrings, foot bone contusions, back soreness, and now an adductor issue, each requiring its own treatment and recovery protocol. This pattern has affected both his continuity as a player and the Pelicans' ability to build around him. While his talent remains evident when he's on the court, the narrative of Williamson's career is as much about what happens off it, in medical facilities, rehabilitation rooms, and strategic roster planning, as on it. Weight and conditioning, evolving physique in the spotlight. From the outset of his NBA career, Zion Williamson's physical profile, a powerful 6'6" forward with rare athleticism, was a defining part of his identity. Yet, that same body has been the subject of scrutiny, analysis, and discussion regarding how conditioning may intersect with his injury patterns. Across the league and among fans, Zion's weight, training regimen, and off-season preparation have become recurring talking points that intersect with his health narrative.
They have tried just about everything. They have changed training staff. They have changed chefs. They have changed coaches. He has changed representation. He has changed workout styles. Trust me, they have seen specialists. They have consulted people all over the planet on how to keep Zion healthy.
In the lead-in to the 2025-26 season, reports indicated Williamson arrived at Pelicans Media Day in noticeably leaner shape, sparking discussion about his commitment to conditioning and potentially influencing his ability to stay healthy throughout a long season. He himself said he felt physically better than he had in years, referencing a training program involving diverse workouts that included boxing and football-style conditioning, approaches aimed at improving mobility and strength. This shift was more than cosmetic. It had tangible implications within the team's framework. There have been contractual stipulations tied to Williamson's physical measurements, including weight and body fat thresholds, which could affect guaranteed salary depending on compliance. While such clauses are relatively unusual at this level, they reflect the organization's effort to align performance goals with physical benchmarks that are perceived to support durability. However, the public discourse around his physique has not always been straightforward. Fan forums and social media discussions often linked fluctuations in his body composition to subsequent injuries, though this is speculative and not medically substantiated. Meanwhile, insiders and analysts have acknowledged that Williamson's proactive embrace of conditioning strategies suggests a conscious effort to adapt his body to the physical demands of the NBA. The tension between physical transformation and ongoing injuries highlights the complexity of attributing athletic durability to any single factor. Conditioning, biomechanics, genetics, intensity of play, and sheer workload all interact in ways that defy simple conclusions. In Zion's case, the narrative around his weight and fitness underscores the broader question of how elite athletes manage their bodies amid the relentless pace of professional basketball. Impact on the Pelicans, team dynamics, and performance. Zion Williamson's on-court availability has had significant implications for the New Orleans Pelicans' performance and roster strategy. Over the past several seasons, his periodic absences have coincided with dips in team performance, challenges in lineup continuity, and broader organizational recalibrations.
Were you impressed by his performance overall?
I was blown away. And let me tell you why. Athletically, he clearly was not the same, right? The guy we saw in college athletically had an explosiveness I didn't see yesterday.
In the 2025-26 season, Zion's absence due to a right hip adductor strain contributes to a troubling stretch for New Orleans, who have struggled to find consistent success. With Williamson sidelined, the Pelicans record skews toward losses, and the team has navigated through a period marked by youth development and growing pains rather than playoff contention. Williamson's presence on the court has historically had a stabilizing influence. In games where he has played, his scoring, rebounding, and playmaking occupy a central role in the team's offensive identity. When he's unavailable, these responsibilities often fall to less experienced players or those whose skill sets don't align with carrying a primary offensive burden. This creates a ripple effect. Role players may see expanded minutes prematurely, defensive schemes shift to compensate for lost athleticism, and coaching strategies become reactive rather than proactive. Beyond performance metrics, his absence affects team morale and fan engagement. Williamson's explosive athletic style and highlight plays are among the most engaging elements for spectators. Without that draw, attendance and viewer interest can wane, while broader narratives around the Pelicans' competitiveness become tempered by speculation about their long-term direction. Organizationally, New Orleans has faced tough roster decisions linked to Williamson's health. Discussions around trades, draft positioning, and potential rebuilding moves tend to surface when a franchise cannot reliably count on a superstar's availability. There's been speculation that the team might explore strategic shifts, balancing between maximizing the current window and setting a foundation for the future. Ultimately, while Williamson's talent remains undiminished, his intermittent presence forces the Pelicans to continually adapt. The team's ability to integrate younger players, manage rotations, and maintain cohesion without his consistent contribution reveals both the challenges of relying on an injury-prone star and the resilience required in professional sports. Trade and contract speculation, market value in flux. The intersection of Zion Williamson's injury history and contractual situation has fueled ongoing speculation about his trade value and long-term place within the New Orleans Pelicans roster construction. For years, the dialogue around Williamson has extended beyond performance into the realm of roster strategy, particularly as other NBA franchises assess risk versus reward when considering potential trades involving his services.
The question of Zion is a very fair question. Do you take the gamble and keep waiting, or do you pull the plug and say, all right, we're moving on, let's see what we can do?
Zion Williamson's lucrative extension with the Pelicans has been overshadowed by limited availability, diminishing external perceptions of his value. Analysts and league insiders suggest New Orleans could consider trades for immediate contributors or draft assets rather than relying solely on Williamson as a franchise cornerstone, especially during losing stretches. The situation is complex. Williamson remains a two-time All-Star with elite athleticism and peak potential when healthy, but recurring injuries, most recently hamstring and adductor strains, make him a high-risk, high-reward option. Teams may hesitate to commit significant assets unless the Pelicans are willing to discount his value. Contract provisions tied to playing time and physical metrics further complicate his trade market, as acquiring teams must weigh both performance and financial implications. From New Orleans' perspective, balancing loyalty to a generational talent with the need for durable roster pieces is a pressing challenge, while Williamson must demonstrate consistent availability to restore his league-wide standing. Ultimately, the tension between potential and practicality ensures that contract and trade considerations will remain central to his career and the Pelicans' future. Criticism and public debate. Voices from every corner. Zion Williamson's career has not only been followed for what happens on the court, but also for what has unfolded in the court of public opinion, where critics, former players, and analysts regularly weigh in on his trajectory, accountability, and potential. As injuries have continued into the 2025-26 season, the conversation around Williamson has become just as narrative-driven as it has been performance-based.
If we do not criticize him, that means we accept what he's gonna be. If he keeps up the same, if he keeps gaining weight, right? If he keeps gaining weight, then we've accepted it, so we're like, all right, we're fine. We're gonna call you a bust and just move on to the next star.
Among the most pointed public voices was NBA legend Scottie Pippen, who openly questioned Williamson's future in the league on the Patrick Bet David podcast. Pippen suggested that Zion won't last in the NBA unless the culture around him changes, citing concerns over his approach to the game and professionalism. While acknowledging Zion's talent, Pippen's comments reflected the frustration among some veterans that his immense ability has yet to translate into consistent availability. Commentators like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp have also entered the discourse, often tying Williamson's recurring injuries to questions about his commitment, with some pundits linking physical readiness and professional standards in blunt terms. Such critiques show how singular athletic talent can be interpreted through the lens of professionalism, not merely medical status. Public debate extends beyond media personalities into former players and analysts who have suggested cultural fits as potential salvation for Williamson. Some propose that a franchise with strict conditioning expectations, like the Miami Heat under Pat Riley, might offer an environment that fosters durability. At the same time, fans themselves reflect a broad spectrum of opinion. Social media and fan forums often oscillate between disappointment and support, with some urging the Pelicans to trade him, while others defend him, emphasizing that injuries are part of sport and that the narrative should not overshadow his actual performances when healthy. This criticism and debate underscores a reality in modern sports. Elite performance is measured not just in points or rebounds, but in how a player is perceived to carry themselves, handle adversity, and respond to public scrutiny. Whatever one's view, Zion's situation has become a flashpoint for broader questions about talent, responsibility, and expectation in professional athletics. Zion's return performances, sparks, stats, and style. Amid the injuries and debates, when Zion Williamson does return to the court, his impact, both statistically and stylistically, remains a focal point for observers intent on understanding whether the talent still matches the hype. His performances in those limited windows tell a story that's separate from the narratives of absence. They reveal what he can do when healthy and how his presence alters the dynamics of his team.
I was happy to see Zion. I ain't gonna lie.
Absolutely.
All that stuff they talk about him and with his weight and all that, it looked like his weight was good this year.
Yeah, he was hooping.
You know, he got some muscle and everything. How is it playing with that boy, man?
He's special.
In November 2025, Zion made a notable comeback from a hamstring issue, scoring 14 points in a 125-118 loss to the Denver Nuggets. This performance illustrated not just scoring, but also multifaceted contributions, adding rebounds, assists, steals, and even a blocked shot in 29 minutes of play. Coaches celebrated the return as a morale boost, indicating that having Zion on the floor lifts both team spirit and tactical options. Head coach James Borrego highlighted how Williamson's presence gets us off to a really good start and acknowledged that spirit and leadership are nearly as important as his statistical output. Borrego's comments underscore a broader appreciation within the organization. Zion's impact can extend beyond the stat sheet, influencing lineup spacing, opponent defensive strategies, and the confidence of younger teammates. At the same time, these return games are carefully managed, with coaching decisions calibrated to avoid exacerbating injuries. Williamson's minutes are often limited and his role adjusted, aspects that, while pragmatic, have led some analysts to describe his appearances as controlled opportunities rather than full-throttle returns. This intentional management serves both to protect him and to gauge readiness realistically. The statistical contributions when he plays, averaging over 20 points and significant peripheral stats in limited samples, suggest that his baseline ability remains elite. But measuring impact solely in flashes can create distorted impressions. It also raises questions about how worth is assigned to quality versus quantity of play. From these returns, the narrative becomes nuanced. Zion can play like a star, but his limited availability complicates how teams, analysts, and fans assess his long-term influence. His performances serve as glimpses of potential, impressive, exciting, and at times dominant, yet also framed by the reality that they are intermittent. In that tension lies much of the contemporary discussion about his legacy, future prospects, what's next for Zion. Looking ahead, the most compelling question for many observers is, what does the future hold for Zion Williamson? At 25 years old and entering his 7th NBA season, he remains both a young talent and a figure at a crossroads, one whose potential peak performance still looms large even as past seasons present ongoing challenges.
Time for the Pelicans to move on from Zion.
Yeah, it's been time.
Yeah, I think they got two new studs over there where they're like,
Queen.
You know, we got Fears and we got Queen.
Zion Williamson's future is shaped by his health, team direction, and personal development. His current right adductor strain is the latest in a series of injuries that have limited him to 30 games or fewer in past seasons, even when his per-game performance was strong. How he and the Pelicans manage conditioning, training loads, and recovery will be as important as his skill. Early in 2025-26, Zion reported feeling stronger than in years, incorporating football and boxing into his offseason to boost strength and mobility, a promising sign, though sustaining that over an 82-game season remains a key challenge. At the organizational level, the Pelicans' struggles have prompted questions about whether to continue building around him or pivot toward other young talent. While injuries have depressed his trade value, his ceiling as a dominant two-way forward keeps him highly valuable. Ultimately, Zion's legacy will depend on turning flashes of elite play into consistent performance. His career stands at a crossroads, with physical resilience, team strategy, and development likely determining both his impact and place in NBA history. Don't forget, Zion Williamson's story is far from finished. The updates, the rumors, and the questions about his future and health are only beginning to surface. What we know, and what might still be hidden, could change how fans see not just Zion, but the trajectory of his entire career. For every reaction, every insider update, and the full story as it unfolds, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. The next development could redefine everything.